Hi everybody, Dr. Keith here with an occasional series of videos introducing special guests. And this time I've got a very special guest. This is Easter weekend. He's been here with the whole weekend for us, having a wonderful time. Marcus Freudenmann. Now he's a very special person. I'm going to get him to introduce himself. But we want to talk about the Dietwise Academy. And he's probably got some of the best perceptions on it from an outsider. I'm the person that wrote it, of course. But as a user, he's going to tell you some interesting stuff. But Marcus, thanks for being here. That's great to have you with us.
I'm excited.
Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, the full story would take a day. You're an amazing person. But let's boil it down to the essentials.
Well, the essentials is I'm very passionate, and I picked the subject called cancer to bring light into a very, very scattered field of information. And that's how we started to make the movie. That's how we started to work on the movie Healing Cancer with Common Sense. We wrote the book Cancer is Curable Now, like a whole lot of things, and we're now changing it all to truly heal, and one part will be cancer but many other degenerative diseases as well, so it's really brought into that essence.
Right, and this is where we met. We kind of overlapped on the nutritional and diet area, and Marcus realized that I had something special to say there, and in his usual way investigated it and did it, nearly blew his brains out actually.
Yeah.
You had an amazing experience, didn't you? So let me just introduce it by saying the concept here is not good foods and bad foods, and if you look at web pages and read books, all these good foods that you must eat and they're really anti-cancer, they're good for you, and then there's all these bad foods you shouldn't eat. None of this takes account of what I've discovered to be the most important aspect of all of diet and nutrition, which is if you're eating something you shouldn't, it's going to really hurt you, can really hurt you, make you really ill, including making the struggle against cancer much harder than it needs to be. And it's a person by person thing. I find there's no such thing as a totally good food. Any healthy food has made somebody somewhere on planet Earth ill, and I mean every food. Got people made sick as dogs with nuts or lettuce, even spring water. There's nothing that's safe. You have to have this way of working it out, and that's what my Dietwise program is about. Anyway, let's turn to Marcus, because he's got direct first-hand experience of doing it. First of all, Marcus, just tell us what you were trying to solve, what kind of issues you were looking at, and then what happened when you started to investigate them.
Well, let's say it that way. The main issue that I realized myself, because our whole family is suffering from a lot of food allergies, food sensitivities. And that was how we got interested in it. When you exclude one and you stop eating one, and we did that about a year ago with gluten, the whole family got a lot better. There was huge changes and huge improvements just from letting that one thing go. And that's when I was actually excited about the Dietwise Academy, when I went through the program and I studied with Keith, that it took that into a real program, not just hearing gluten is bad for you, actually experiencing how it affects your life. So we went through the program, and I just did that one thing. I didn't do the whole program because that would have impacted too much in my life. So I did just one part. And after that, I was so flabbergasted, I was so blown away that we actually included it into all our programs, and I sent all our cancer patients through that program to learn and find out what kind of food sensitivities they have. And then it came to that one significant day that changed my life. And it was actually really simple. We went to a doctor, and I eat everything organic, everything 100% healthy. There is nothing that I'm sneaking or cheating out. And I still couldn't lose weight, I still couldn't change my life, and I still had breakdowns and immune problems and health conditions that I could not explain why, because I do detoxification, I do sauna treatment, I do a lot of exercise, I walk every day an hour at the beach. Really, like, there couldn't be a lot of improvement, and I could not find out what was wrong. So I went to a local GP, to a doctor, and he said, Marcus, you know what? Your blood values look like you're really, really deadly sick. And I was like, how can that be? We went through everything possible. He did all the inflammation markers, and the inflammation markers were 6 times off chart. You know, when you have a inflammation starting at 50 to 2000 maximum, I was at 6,800. So I was way off chart. And I could feel that. I had an inflamed gut, I had constant diarrhea, I had all sorts of problems. And that's when I decided to go through the program more thoroughly. We did an IgG test as a first base, because I quite like tests. They give me an indication where I'm going, and parallel to that, everything that was indicated in the test, I actually excluded. Then I went onto a juicing program, 3 weeks of juicing only healthy veggies that aren't in any form, like Keith explains in his program, inflammatory or cause any kind of food sensitivities. And once I had done that, my energy level was going up. It was actually phenomenal. I was really bursting in the morning out of bed with an extreme energy and power. And I realized that all my inflammation was going down. Now, I have done all my tests before I started the program. The stool test, the IgA test, all my fatty acid profile, the lipid profile. So I went through the whole program to really document what was changing in my body once I eliminated my toxic foods. Toxic for me, not for anybody else. And that was when I realized eggs, oh, eggs, I love eggs. So I can't eat eggs anymore. They are in an allergy range that my body has a complete breakdown, cold sweat, pulse racing, hot flashes, and an energy drop that really puts me to sleep. The same thing with almonds. Now, what did I do for roughly 2 years? Every morning, greatest recipe, you should try it, it tastes stunning. I took a blender, a Vitamix, I put some kale leaves and spinach leaves in, then some maca powder, some chocolate powder, 2 raw eggs, bit of almonds, and then on top of that some blueberries and some water, and sometimes a bit of rice milk just to make it really, or coconut cream. And then I was blending that and had that as a morning smoothie. And I did that every day.
Sounds great, but you felt absolutely crap.
Well, the inflammation markers were the proof that those 2 food sensitivities, almonds and the egg, that I put into the smoothie every morning, which sounds logical. It sounds like enough protein. It sounds like good fats, good oils, everything. And I added hemp powder, which I'm highly allergic to as well. So those really blew it and caused inflammation galore that my immune system couldn't deal with anything else. I could not lose weight. And I know many of you might have that problem with losing weight. When you have inflammations, you cannot lose weight. Full stop, it just doesn't work. It's a deadly cycle.
Yeah.
And that cycle was interrupted at once I stopped eating my food sensitivity foods. I've lost in the meantime. Now this is a shirt, now you have to see this. I bought this shirt skin tight before I left, and that's now 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, I lost how many inches is that?
At least 8 or 9 inches, yeah.
And 16 kilos and I haven't managed that in the last 10 years, just because I was eating food sensitivity foods. Now, for me, it's a big problem. I have dairy, gone. Almonds, gone. Gluten.
Gluten's a big one, isn't it? You lose wheat, so all those lovely, you know, bread and croissants.
Croissants, chocolate croissants. So there's actually nothing left to bake a cake. Eggs were the worst, because at least with an egg you can then fluff up some gluten-free cakes, all gone. So it's a kind of impact in my life. But when I look at the empowerment that we gain from it, the energy, the health, losing weight after so many years of struggling, was immense, and I'm extremely appreciative of the program. And you know, we've now included it into our Truly Heal program. It's a full-on package. It's part of the Truly Heal program. When you go through and you learn food sensitivities, why you do them, how you find them out, and it's all included. Because there is one observation, and I think I haven't even told you. We started to do that in all the clinics when the patients come for a 21-day retreat. They go into the exclusion program for 2 weeks. So nothing but veggies, steamed veggies. Really, most of the patients come along, can we cheat? Can we go somewhere? But once they understand the principle and they go through, and then in the last week, which is the 3rd week of the program, they're introduced to certain foods to prove whether the IgG test was actually correct or not, and to check out how impactful that food has an influence on their health. And with every single patient so far, it knocks them over when they realize how great they feel one moment and how that whole thing collapses within just one single meal that they eat. And that is, for me, more important than knowing it, because the experience is what keeps them going. They will go home and continue because they've experienced the downfall and not because they believe it to the doctor or me.
Right. There's nothing better than eating it feeling absolutely yuck. You don't need any persuading. Anyway, there's 2 or 3 things there then from what Marcus has said. One is that it helps the immune system immensely. If you get rid of these stressor foods, these inflammatory things, it helps the immune system come up. And of course, that's what you want with cancer. The second thing is, we're not saying there aren't healthy, delicious, natural, whole foods. There are lots of them. But you must not make the assumption that because they're supposedly healthy, that they're healthy for everybody all the time. Individual food sensitivities, they're all variable and different.
I can say something to that, because we have usually about 10 to 15 patients in our 21-day retreats. And when they come, they go through the test, and then they have that food sensitivity test. So the first 2 weeks is very easy for the chef to prepare the food. And everybody quite likes it. And they learn how to cook that way. They learn how to exclude all the foods. And then in the last week, everybody goes based on their highest food sensitivity in the IgG test. That's the first food which they try to see the reaction. And it's kind of amazing. We had not one retreat so far, not one 21-day retreat, where not everybody was allergic to something different in the main inflammations.
Right. And of course, a terrific experience for all of the group to see others falling around sick. It really rams it home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I want to take from what you said, and it's worth remembering, is that if you don't leap out of bed boundlessly energetic and dying to get on with the day, then something is wrong. And I think people
and you
have
don't
to get
know that if you don't have it.
Well, that's true, until you've been free of it. But do you agree with me, Marcus, that this is a journey that everyone should make at least once in their lifetime? You can keep doing it every few years if you want, but everyone needs to do it at least once and find out where this is coming from.
There is a beautiful story about Gandhi, how he was writing protocol for 2 years, exactly what he ate, and how he felt after, and how he felt the next day. And through that, he developed his personal protocol of diet. And I heard that many times, and I thought, that's pretty dedicated, especially with food, comfort foods, to test out whether they are good for you or not. I follow my cravings. So I ignored and pushed that to the side. And then I heard it more and more. And when Keith came with that really dedicated program to find it out, it was like a light switch went on. And it really is. My daughter, for example, has similar food sensitivities to me, but she's got more. Now, if you look at parents, they pass on their food sensitivities to their children. Then they pass on the added and the previous food sensitivities. And that's why every generation gets worse. And we need to learn that there is something behind that. And that's not only the sensitivity, it's the toxic overload, it's the stress, it's the DNA impairment, it's all the damage that has been caused over time. And to bring that inflammation level down and to repair is, for us, now, protocol number 1 in all cancer treatments.
And I think it should be too.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, well, you see why I love this man. He's talking about passionate. You can't stop him. He's very excited about life and very exciting to be around. Anyway, this is Keith Scott-Mumby talking for Dietwise Academy. And basically the message here is, if you haven't done it yet, you need to do it. Get yourself enrolled and get through the program. There's help there if you have difficulties, but the results are well worth it. And you've heard Marcus, who's a glowing example, as it were.
And I can confirm it's very easy. It's really not complicated. And I would like to add one important thing which has become transparent to me. You don't do that just to get well. It's actually to learn to listen to your body, to learn to communicate with your body. This is like a temple, a tool that we use every day to achieve what we want to achieve. And if that works well, it's like driving a car and you can listen, there is a rattle, there is something not right with the brakes. And that's where we feel it, and we really have a great sensitivity to it, but we lost that with our body. And when I realized the energy that I have now, and what we do now, and the way I can write and I can clearly think, it's not only an influence on the body and food sensitivity and diarrhea, it's actually, that's where your emotions live. So your brain completely transforms and changes when you take food sensitivities out. It makes you feel differently, your emotions get brightened up. And it's listening to those signs when you eat something and you go like, whoop, I feel it. And it really becomes, I feel it, this is not good for me, and pushing the plate away. That's something that I had to relearn. And you will know that from little children. They have that. They push their plate away. They don't eat
and
until...
Animals do the same.
Animals
they
don't
sniff
eat
the food, they lick it and think, nah, even
exactly.
if they're hungry.
We've lost that.
Humans go, no, and they eat it anyway. And they say, oh, I feel good.
Exactly. So it's reconnecting with yourself, and that's where the value in the program is. So take it up and go through. It's really amazing.
Yes. Folks, Dietwise Academy, and if you haven't read Dietwise, get the book too. But you can see on the screen here, Dietwise Academy, that's the URL you need to go to. You'll see a nice series of introductory videos, then get yourself enrolled. We look forward to seeing you on the inside.
See you there.
Take care. Bye.